Hi everyone, there's LAR Games, and today the new update came out. Which update is it? I forgot, so let's check. Notices 1.5 came out. Alright. Um, yeah, so that means a new banner is out. So because of that, the first thing that I want to do is roll for a character that I've been looking forward to ever since she was announced, and a character who I've already reacted to in terms of her demo and uh, miscellany. So yeah, let's give it a shot. I didn't think I was gonna be spending my primo gems so soon, but I kind of really need her. And as of now, she's not on the regular banner, so my chances of getting her are pretty slim if I don't do this. So yeah, let's see if we can get her. Oh, okay. So the thing I'm super nervous about is whether I don't want to get Noelle. If you've seen my my playthrough up to now, you know just how much I don't want to get another Noelle. And there's also Diona, who I don't want as well. So it's pretty dangerous. There's also Zhongli here, who I also don't want. Basically, the only one I want is Yanfei. Oh, okay. All right. Let's do this. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on, Yanfei. Yes. Yes. Okay. Oh my god, yes. I'm so happy. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's the stuff. That's the dopamine I needed. Oh, yes. Oh. Okay, so technically I only spent 160 primo gems. This worked out so freaking well. I am really happy right now. Oh man. Okay. Well, that worked out perfectly. Oh, yes. Okay. All right. So, now that I have her, let's see what she plays like, huh? I have these test runs. So I'm going to do her last. So let's do these. I don't remember trying Zhongli ever. Unless I've tried him and just forgot. Alright, by tapping his elemental skill, Zhongli can summon a stone steel. Or stele, dealing damage to the... Oh, it does damage. Oh, and you hold it and it creates a shield. So it does two things. His elemental burst summons a meteorite. Okay, I know about that one. Alright. And he's a spear character. He has really cool moves, though. What's his, charge like? Oh, that thing. Right, okay. Alright, let's see what happens. So, the skill does damage. Okay. Oh, and he can place multiple. Oh, never mind, just the one. So doing this, the shield, so we can do both at once. It's not bad. And then this. Pretty nice damage on that. Does the damage reach him? His voice is pretty awesome though, like, if there was one male character that I would get because he's just so cool. Oh, and of course he's using Staff of Homa. Oh, that makes me mad. Alright, let's use the other characters.
This moment will be frozen in time.
You're in for a little gift. Surrender and I'll be gentle.
Rise! I will have order.
Alright, so that one-shot everything.
Quake!
He has such a cool voice. Oh, so you're still alive.
What's this? Oh, so sorry.
Alright, fair enough. That's alright. Next, who's next? Next is Diona, who I definitely don't want. But free stuff. Gotta do it. Alright, her cryo powers become a preferred method of treating a drunkard's alcohol dependency. Her elemental skill shoots icy paws that deal cryo damage. Okay. And it creates a shield. So kind of like a long range Jinyan. Holding increases the amount of... So why not just always hold it then? So she's a healer. Alright, well, let's see. She's also paired with Kaya and Lisa for some reason. Oh, Lisa's this.
Come a little closer.
Let's go.
Cool it.
You're in for a little shock.
This moment will be frozen in time.
Can't handle your drink. Huh.
You've been a naughty boy.
I don't know. I don't really know how to use Lisa all that
Try
much.
not to enjoy this too.
Oh, so sorry.
Look at you, Boozehound.
Her comments are pretty funny though.
Dodge this.
You're in for a little shock. Come a little closer.
Freeze.
You're in for a little shock.
This moment will be frozen in time.
Yeah.
Cool it.
Diana special.
Dodge this.
Pew pew.
Cool it.
Think you can bully me?
Dodge this. Don't get frostbite.
Come a little closer. Let's spark things up.
Look at you.
Oh, she didn't get to use it. Alright, that's meh. Now, finally, the one that I've been waiting for. Yanfei. Let's do it! Alright, when a fireball conjured by Yanfei's normal attacks hits an opponent, and, yeah, okay, I saw the thing. Yeah, so she's just pure damage, which is kind of awesome. She looks so freaking good. Look at her. Oh man, that's the best looking lawyer I've ever seen. Alright. So she's by herself, which says something. And she could also do this. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. Time for your arraignment. Incinerate. Yeah.
She just seems like she's super fun.
Boom boom. Inadmissible evidence. Incinerate.
Oh, she says lawyer stuff while fighting too. That's awesome. Okay, she's definitely the most fun to play out of all of these that I just tried. Oh my god, she's gonna be so fun. Yeah, this is great. How much of the stamina does it use when she does that, though? Alright, let's see. That's actually quite a bit.
Breath of the flame. Boom boom.
Alright, yeah. I like this. I like this a lot. Alright. Now that we have those out of the way, we can we can do the quest she stars in. But first, let's claim these. Or is it this? The crisis looming over Liyue Harbor has calmed, and it's business as usual in the city. However, Madame Ping, the flower admirer, flowers in. However, Madame Ping, the flower admirer, flowers in Yujing Terrace. I don't know how to read that sentence. The flower admirer flowers? Is flowers being used as a verb? Or just a noun in this? Because after the terrace part, there's a comma. And whatever. Okay. Let's do the quest. I actually played earlier, but of course I didn't do anything related to any new things. But I noticed hitting trees now gives you wood. So that's what they said was going to be in this update. So I have some wood now. I'm glad you could do it before you start the quest. To like earn a little bit before that. Alright. Let's make a home. Sadly, we won't be able to place characters in our bases, in our player housing, till the next update. But I'm really excited. I'm more excited for that. Actually, I'm kind of equally excited because we wouldn't be able to do one without the other, but still. I'm not going to loot anything yet. I'll wait till I'm done recording. Alright, Madam Ping, I see you. Perfect.
Ah, children, come, come. You've arrived at just the right moment. I've been looking for you.
Oh, what is it, Granny? Need any help?
Oh, no. You've done so much for Liyue Harbor already. I could hardly ask for more. In fact, my old friends and I have been putting our heads together to think of what sort of gift we might give you in return.
Neat. Great reward.
Gift? For Paimon?
No, for me.
Oh, child, you are so very modest. Uncommonly so, even. But you mustn't decline this gift. I simply won't allow it.
Well, I wouldn't want to be honest.
When you
Especially knowing what it
traversed
is.
my old teapot in search of the cleansing bell, I heard your little friend mention that you often
So she was
camp
hearing
out
everything
in
we
the
said while we were in
wilds.
there.
That simply won't do. Especially since I imagine you still have a very long journey ahead of you. Fortunately, I have not yet grown so old as to see my subspace creation abilities atrophy.
Wow. You can do the same thing as us when we put things in our inventory. Though in a much more visually spectacular way, and it seems it's entire people that you could hold.
Oh, did my friends never mention that to you? Well then, it is a blessing we old folks once received from Rex Lapis, part of our illumination, if you will. I will not go into too much detail, but subspace creation is the ability to create a small, autonomous pocket world.
That's a very, very, very OP sounding ability.
The teapot that you entered previously was a little trinket created using that ability.
So, in the eyes of an adeptus, creating a magic teapot world is just child's play, huh?
Indeed, the teapot is
Wow.
nothing to boast of. One such as myself must depart from this realm to create a world of one's own. Rex Lapis, on the other hand, moved mountains and seas. That is what one might call an exercise of true power.
Well, in his human shape right now, he's not able to do any of those things.
But that's enough nostalgia for now. The gift that I have prepared for you just requires a few final materials to add the finishing touch.
Just let me know what they are and I'll go get them.
Right! Finding stuff's what we're good at after
It's
all.
what we're forced to do after all.
Oh, settle down now, children. There's no need for you to go running hither and thither. I have already found a fleet-footed youngster to prepare what I need.
Oh?
What's more, I doubt that you would know how to find the materials I am searching for. Some of them are very rare indeed these days.
Her saying youngster means nothing. Almost everyone in the entire world is younger than her, so they could be considered a youngster.
Well, for starters, I require some shimmer soil from the banks of Dihua Marsh. Back in the day, it could only be found where the glazed lilies thrived most profusely.
Yes, game, I know. I haven't looted those yet. So, Dequan Marsh. I'm sure we'll go there someday. I'm looking forward to it. A marshy landscape will be interesting to traverse, especially with Mona.
You would have to dig downward, following the roots of the glazed lilies. And if you were lucky enough, you just might find a small patch of shimmer soil there. But almost no one has been able to find shimmer soil in this manner since Dihua Marsh came to be the way it is today.
How is it?
Even more difficult to find is smaragdus jadeite, which must be chiseled from the rock of the chasm.
Oh, we're probably
So
headed there
it used
next.
to be. Ever since the Blackcliff Forge opened for business, they've slowly but surely stripped the mines all but completely bare of it. In any case, smaragdus jadeite is an adepti treasure, and the adeptal power within is not something that most humans can withstand. Extended contact with it is, in fact, harmful to humans.
As we've established in previous updates, we're not human.
Goodness knows if that child will succeed in finding these items.
Probably Yanfei, isn't it?
Well, since you're an adeptus, Granny, the person you asked for help, they must be an adeptus too, right?
Yes, I suppose she does count as an adeptus.
She counts? How come there are so many adepti in Liyue Harbor? We seem to bump into them all the time. It feels like even when you go out to eat, you could be sitting next to an adeptus and never even know it.
Oh, maybe so. Who can say? A fair few of my old friends are rather fond of mundane mortal life.
What a
after all.
non-committal explanation of how many there are.
I'm back, Granny.
Oh, there she is. Oh my god, she looks so good.
Oh, I don't believe we've met.
Ah, allow me to do the honors. This child here is Yanfei. She's the one helping run some errands for me. Yanfei, I believe you already heard of the traveler and his traveling companion.
Of course, who hasn't? Much has been written about you in the Millilith's records.
Nice to meet you. I'm so happy.
You became one of Liyue's most wanted after the Millilith marked you as a suspect following the incident at the Rite of Dissension. After which, you fought off the Millilith at Julian Karst and made contact with the Fatui. Before finally defeating an ancient god together with Granny and her associates, and subsequently being cleared of any and all suspicion by the Chiseng. What a shame.
She really likes being a lawyer, it seems.
A shame that we didn't meet sooner.
Oh, okay.
If we had, well, I can't say that I would have been able to clear you of suspicion immediately, but it certainly would have been less, embarrassing for you.
That would have been nice to meet that way too, to be honest.
Allow me to introduce myself.
Oh,
once more.
thank you, camera.
I'm Yanfei, a legal advisor. Got a
Oh
legal
my
problem?
god,
You
camera.
can come right to me.
I approve.
Oh, yes. Here's my business card. You'll find it has my contact details and office address. Keep it handy.
Thank you.
If you have an urgent issue, just leave me a note at this address. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, I offer a very generous discount for first-time customers.
All right, Yanfei, all right. Let's get to the business at hand.
God, she looks so
I think
freaking
these
good.
two
Oh, I don't know how many
are
times I'm gonna have to say
dire
that.
need of legal assistance at the moment. You'll have to excuse Yanfei. She's always been like this. Ever the talkative one when it comes to her own affairs.
Paimon was gonna ask the same question. You seem really different from the ones we've met before.
She seems very, well, business-centered.
An Adeptus? I guess. Kinda. My old man said he was one anyway. He mentioned that he once campaigned with Rex Lapis for a long old time, and then after that was all over, he went back and married my mom. They had me, and once I was all grown up, the two of them upped and left on a journey, leaving me with Granny here.
Oh. Just left you, huh? Kinda sucks.
Well, that's a bit casual for an Adeptus. Aren't you guys supposed to...
Well, at least it wasn't while she was a kid. Like with Timmy.
What do you mean he just went back to get married? Well, my dad did say that he'd talked it through with Rex Lapis and that he was fine with it. Even contributed towards the wedding gift, apparently.
And that's also an idea that Rex Lapis himself ended up becoming fond of, isn't it?
Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much.
Well, not
So,
particularly the
Granny,
marriage
I've
part,
gotten
but
a hold of
the,
most of the stuff you asked for,
you know,
except for
living amongst
Smaragdus
humans
Jadeite.
sort of thing.
I couldn't find any at all. The chasm's been sealed off, and there's just no way in. Couldn't
There's a
secure the
road leading
documentation
out.
either.
It's just that
Looks
I guess
like
it's
the
been sealed
Ministry of
off
Civil
by
Affairs
map
is serious about
barriers.
keeping it strictly locked down.
Is that so? But Smaragdus Jadeite is really rather essential. Yanfei, are you sure you can't find some other way? They have helped Liyue greatly after all. It is only right that they are duly rewarded.
I know, Granny, you've told me 1,000 times already. Well, the chasm's definitely
I love her
no-go,
eyes.
but there's still a chance we can figure out some alternative means of procurement. Hold on a moment.
Oh.
Let me have a look.
Where'd that come from?
Whoa, that's a really thick book. What kind of things do you write in there? Commercial consultancy.
I think she's using some sort of
Or
spatial
Snezhnaya.
creation there as well.
Found him. Krusel, a Snezhnayan merchant who once came to me with some legal queries on certain articles in the legal codices. If my memory serves, all of them had to do with rare ores.
You ever been in this building?
He mentioned that he was considering acquiring some Smaragdus Jadeite to make hairpins, and wanted to know if there were any legal ramifications that he should be aware of. Said he was planning to sell them in Snezhnaya.
It's a pretty mundane way to use that considering how they've been talking about it.
So, I guess I'll go look for him. With any luck, he'll have gotten his hands on some smaragdus jadeite, or might have an idea of where we can find some.
Yes, we must stick together.
Oh, you want to join me? I suppose that's no problem, but it's best if you just stand by and watch. If you try to get involved, you'll only risk placing yourself in legal jeopardy.
I'm not sure how, but let's see how this goes, huh?
Wow, an adeptus imploring us to avoid incurring legal liability. Well, that's a first for sure. Best we be a little more careful than usual while we're with her.
I'm not really sure what legal trouble we could get in, but I'm sure something will happen. I'll do that later. Oh, we can't go in? Wait, where?
What goes on in the mind?
Oh, I thought it was pointing at that building for some reason. Yes, I'll pick these up because they were on the way. Oh, so it's here. Oh, never mind, it's not there. This is where we went with Hu Tao once. Oh, they're just using a stall? That's weird.
Hello, Mr. Crossell. How's business been?
Oh, good, very good.
Oh,
thanks to your advice,
that's
Miss
him!
Yanfei.
That's Sun Quan.
What brings you here tonight?
Oh, that's funny. I'm happy he was able to voice somebody in this game.
You're too kind. I was simply doing my job. Now, I believe that the last time we met, you mentioned that you were looking to source some smaragdus jadeite to make hairpins. Have there been any further developments on this front?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, in the end, I
Oh
did
god, I
acquire
just
a
can't
small
unhear
piece of
him.
Smaragdus jadeite and had it fashioned into a pair of hairpins. Miss Yanfei, might I presume that you have an interest in the hairpins? I must apologize. I've already rented them out to a lady named Zhi Qiao. If you'd like to inspect them, you may have to wait quite some time.
I really can't unhear that. All I see in my mind is his face saying these things.
Wait, isn't smaragdus jadeite really rare? Aren't you worried about the hairpins getting damaged or lost while they're being rented out?
No, I'm not worried in the slightest, because I signed a contract with Miss Zhi Qiao before renting them to her. The contract makes it quite clear that if she loses or damages the item in question, she must compensate me for its full original value. In return, I included a clause that guarantees the smaragdus jadeite is genuine, with a penalty of 10 times the item's value payable by me to Miss Zhi Qiao in the event that it is shown to be a fake.
And that's a lot of stuff.
Guaranteed genuine, with 10 times the value payable if this claim is shown to be false. Yes, these terms are very clear indeed.
Of course. This way, both the client and I have the assurance we need. To ensure fairness, each of us has retained an original copy of the contract.
In that case, might you know where Miss Xiao lives? We'd like to pay her a visit and have a look at the hairpins.
Oh, of course. She wrote her address down when we signed our contract. Here, I'll mark it on your map for you.
Usually you wouldn't provide that type of information from a customer, but alright.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Crossell. We'll be off now.
I feel like taking Yanfei out during this quest. But I wouldn't know who to replace. I need to think about team composition differently now. I do want to replace Xinyan because she's at Friendship 10 now, and characters at Friendship 10 are not earning friendship points anymore. So, wait, where am I going? Oh, that way. I was right next to it. I still would have needed to go around, so that's fine. This is the correct way here.
Whatever shall I do? Yes, that's me. Is there something I can help you with?
How do you do, Monsieur Chow? We understand from Mr. Crossell that you recently rented a pair of hairpins from him. My associates and I are very interested in them. Would you mind letting us take a look at them?
The hairpins.
No,
I
no.
can't lend them to you right
Also,
now.
man, her hands are huge.
I've lost them.
I never really noticed that.
I don't know how it could have happened. I always kept them right by my side, and I hadn't even worn them yet. I spent so much money on them. If I have to pay their original value, there's no way I could come up with that amount of money on such short notice. My family is in the ore business too, but business has been suffering ever since the chasm was sealed off.
I'm sure it's going to be unsealed very soon.
We now have a backlog of paid-up orders just sitting around, so we've been having to purchase some stock from other ore merchants to complete them. A big banquet is coming up in a few days, and several ore merchants I know of will be there. I need this opportunity to mingle and discuss prices. That's what the hairpins were for, to keep up appearances. I can't have them looking down on me.
This type of business seems rough.
But now that I've lost the hairpins, what will I do?
Why does Paimon have a sudden strong sense of deja vu?
Because you're starting to get wise to the tropes, Paimon.
Would you really? I sent a commission to the Adventurers Guild, but I haven't heard anything back from them yet.
Hold on. Don't run off looking for the hairpins just yet. Monsieur Chow, would you let me have a look at the rental contract you signed?
She gonna do some lawyering?
Huh? Well, I mean, sure, I have it right here. Here you are.
Let me see. That's right! Yanfei said she's a legal advisor, didn't she? Maybe she can help Juqiao somehow.
That would be. He was pretty nice to us, so that probably wouldn't be the right course of action.
True. Though surely there must be a win-win solution. Right. I finished reading the contract. The terms are very clear, and they do indeed stipulate that you must pay Mr. Crossell the original value of the hairpins as compensation for the loss. Furthermore, the contract also expressly states that the amount of compensation must take current market prices into account. And given the rarity of Smaragdus Jadeite, I fear that the final amount of compensation may end up being significantly higher as a result.
Even higher? Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Juqiao looks like she's about to faint. However, all of this is assuming that it is indeed genuine Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid into the hairpins.
That is true.
Did you really have to pause before saying that part? Anyway, the hairpins are lost, so how exactly would we be able to find out if the Jadeite is genuine or not? Whichever way you look at it, we've got to start by finding those hairpins. Except that if we found the hairpins, there'd no longer be any need to check whether the Jadeite is genuine, would there? Seems right.
Please, don't trouble yourselves over this. The fact is, I lost the item, and I should pay compensation per the contract.
That is true, but at the same time, this might be a similar case as to when, I forgot who lost a book in Mondstadt, but it turned out that it was actually stolen. And it was the Abyss Order the entire time, so maybe it's a similar case to that.
However much it is, I will have to pay it. My family are merchants, after all. It's vital that we keep our word and respect our contracts. Now that it's come to this, I really shouldn't keep Crossell in the dark any longer. I'll go and inform him of the issue, and then negotiate the amount of compensation.
Yes, legally speaking, it seems this is the most sensible course of action. But before that, I have some questions about the hairpins. So hold on a moment, Monsieur Chow. When you first touched the hairpins, what did you feel?
What did I feel? Well, I remember that the gemstones set into the pins were perfectly smooth to the touch, like the finest quality jade. My family has seen much jade pass through its hands in the past, so I am quite certain of my judgment in this matter.
Smooth to the touch, finest quality jade.
No wonder what the properties of the thing is.
No, it's nothing. I just need to re-examine a few things. Let's head over to Mr. Crossell's.
Now I'm back.
You can't beat the atmosphere here in Lila.
Ah, Miss Yanfei, you've returned. With Miss Jiqiao in tow, too, I see.
Yeah, she crashed down
How
into
are
the ground along
hairpins
with
here?
us.
I trust you're quite satisfied with them?
About that.
So they are just pretty much lost. We're not going to go look for them.
You lost them? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how expensive they were?
Point.
I'm sorry.
J'accuse.
Truly, I am. I'll pay the compensation as per our contract. Every last mora.
Mora? Do you have any idea what I had to go through to get my hands on that Smaragdus jadeite? I just don't... Forget it. Talking won't bring them back. Since Miss Yanfei is here, I suppose we can just have her estimate the amount that needs to be paid.
We'll see where this
No
goes.
problem. But before I can give an official estimate, I'll need to do a little market research. Ah, yes, and if I may just confirm again, it was in fact genuine Smaragdus jadeite inlaid into the hairpins, correct?
Of course! Genuine article guaranteed, or I pay back 10 times the value.
Well, they mentioned this enough times that I could see where this is going.
All right, understood. I'll conduct some market research, and once I'm back, I'll provide an official assessment of the sum owed by Mr. Chow in compensation. Please wait here, Mr. Crossell.
She said Mr. by accident. Ha.
Thank you very much. How could she lose my hairpins? She'd better pay every last mora that they're worth.
J'accuse again.
Looks like I'll have to find some way to raise that money.
Please wait, Mr. Chow. I have something to discuss with you. It's not convenient to speak here, so let's find somewhere that we can sit and talk in more detail.
I guess I need to do that, huh? Do I actually have to... Oh no. It chose for me.
Why'd they have to give me that trick?
I wonder if those birds were there again. I always forget that there's birds here, and then I end up not taking advantage of the fact that there's birds there. There should be some birds next to the teleporter, though. I can never get those either. There we go. Yeah, okay, this time I'll get them. Very good.
Way behind schedule.
Alright, here. I don't think I've ever paid to be here.
Miss Yanfei, what is this about? Are you here to tell me how much I owe?
No. What I wanted to talk about is, there is a chance that the ore inlaid on those hairpins may not be Smaragdus jadeite after all.
So, I mean, we could just stop doing this, but of course, the storyline has to go somewhere.
What do you mean? Are you implying that you already sneaked off and found them?
Snuck off, Paimon.
Obviously not. I'm no adventurer, let alone a member of the guild. I don't run thankless, time-consuming errands for
Oh,
nothing.
you will now that
Let's
you're on
just
my
say
team.
I made some deductions.
You're gonna be doing a lot of that now.
I don't know if Granny told you this, but Smaragdus jadeite is found deep underground and contains very concentrated elemental energy. If mere mortals come into contact with it, well, they'll be sick in the best case. And in the worst case, they could even experience a dramatic change of personality. It most certainly would not be smooth to the touch. Mr. Chow, did you at any time feel unwell while the hairpins were in your possession?
No, not at all. I felt perfectly fine the whole time. Not even the slightest bit unwell. I didn't feel anything special at all, in fact.
That settles it. She's another Adepti. Or Adeptus. One of the Adepti.
Now that is strange. I noticed earlier that there were elemental traces in Mr. Crossell's vicinity. If I've deduced correctly, he may still have the Smaragdus jadeite in his possession.
No, so he's not as nice as he first came across as, huh?
If that's the case, we should go confront him right now and expose his dirty scam right to his face! Absolutely not. If we were to confront him now, there's no way he would admit to it. Eventually, he would find some argument to compel us to leave. And then, he'd throw the Smaragdus jadeite into the sea the moment we were gone. After that, he would simply insist that Mr. Chow pay up per the contract. He would lose nothing.
Nice forward thinking.
Meanwhile, we would have to look under every stone in Liyue, hoping and praying that the hairpins do actually still exist somewhere in this world.
I feel like she's probably like one of the smarter characters we've met in this game.
So vivid that Paimon thinks it might be experience talking.
Maybe Hu Tao as well.
Oh, it certainly is. I've seen my fair share of situations like this, and brute force methods are certainly one way of resolving them. Fortunately, I have far more elegant solutions at my disposal. I'll share them with you in due course.
Well then, since you're so experienced in dealing with problems like this, perhaps you could help me, Miss Yanfei.
Oh, that won't be a problem. But first, Mr. Chow, could I ask you to please sign this contract?
She called him Mr. again. I mean, her. God, now I'm doing it.
Huh? Does there have to be a contract for everything? Paimon can't even keep track.
Well, it's Liyue.
It feels like Yanfei is even more concerned with them than a certain someone else we know. These are my formal terms of engagement. Everything prior to now has just been pro bono advice. But for me to investigate any further, I require a written contract.
And legal fees.
Any work commissioned but not bound by a contract cannot be relied upon.
I understand. Then I will be glad to place this matter into your capable hands if you will take it, Miss Yanfei.
No problem. Just sign here, and I'll sign too. Okay. Now write your address here, and then sign on this page as well.
Paimon is... she's lost. Oh, that's great.
And I'll also need your signatures on pages 5, 7, and on the very last page. Finally, if you can
Oh
just
my
use the
God,
keypad to
this
make
is
a hand
great.
over here. This contract has so many pages.
I was about to mention Paimon's brain juice line. I was gonna say, Paimon's running out of brain juice again. And then she... Oh my god. How does this game do this every single time?
Alright, that should do it. My fees are the same as always, and they're written in the contract. Have a look through and let me know if you have any questions.
I've had a read through. Everything checks out.
Well then, here's your copy of the contract. I will retain the other copy.
I just need to sit here and look pretty, I
Not
guess.
for now, no. Despite how intractable this problem might sound, it will actually be quite straightforward to resolve, once we've got some things squared away. I don't believe you have been part of an investigation like this before, in which case, hopefully this should be quite the experience.
Well, there has been some times.
Miss Yanfei, I have to ask, why are you helping me?
Because she's gonna get paid.
Because, as it happens, I'm currently trying to acquire some Smaragdus Jadeite
Well,
myself.
that too, but you
I
know,
noticed
she's not
strong
doing this for
traces of
free.
Geo-energy around Mr. Crossel, so perhaps he has, in fact, secured some. Whether he actually made it into an item of jewelry or not is a separate matter, but either way, it's a lead. As long as we follow it, who knows? We might just be able to get our hands on some Smaragdus Jadeite. Also, the idea of someone abusing the law to their advantage, I won't stand for it.
You do it for the power of good.
But again, let's not dwell on this. Let's go to... where can we find someone who processes ore?
Well, there's probably the guy standing a few feet away from us.
Ah, I've got it. Let's pay a visit to Chateau, the boss of the Jade Mystery. He's a professional when it comes to working with stone and ore.
Is it that guy that I'm talking about?
If Mr. Crossel had his
He's right
ore
there in the
work done at
background,
all,
waving.
Chateau would undoubtedly have been his first choice.
Yep, there he is. Good camera work. Poof!
Why, hello there, honored customers. Welcome to... Oh, it's you, Miss Yanfei.
He sounds very
is
nervous
something the
around her,
matter?
which makes sense considering he likes to scam people.
Surely not more spurious claims that my jade betting is rigged and no one can ever win? Oh, I swear
I don't think I've
my
ever
wallet
won
is
that.
Sacred.
No, nothing of the sort. Has a Snezhnine merchant named Crossel enlisted your ore processing services recently by any chance?
A Snezhnayan merchant named Krosel, you say? I do remember that. He brought me a piece of ore, claiming that it was Smaragdus Jadeite. That was the first time I'd ever encountered it, so I had no way of telling if it was really Smaragdus jadeite or not. But if a customer insists, far be it. He was quite generous with his money too, so I didn't give it too much thought. I processed the ore as per his request.
Was this always his voice, or did they change his voice?
Do you have any leftover debris from your work on it?
Why, yes. It was my first time encountering this ore, after all, so I kept a few loose shavings to study myself later.
Is that enough for what we
They're
need?
over there,
That was more
man.
than shavings. Those are entire fragments.
Thank you, sir. We'll take a look at them.
You need pretty readily parts with this. Like, this seems like a lot. This seems more than you would need to make, like, so many rings and, like, necklaces and stuff. There's a lot of stuff.
Try your luck betting on Jade?
If my eyes don't deceive me, the cross sections and patterning suggest that these are Smaragdus nephrite shavings. Yes, it's not particularly
Oh,
rare,
I see.
nor is it especially valuable. It's used to make jewelry.
That's why
all
there's
the
so
time.
much.
I've heard it said that Smaragdus nephrite is in fact the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite, though no one's ever proven it.
Well, they have very similar names, so I wouldn't be surprised.
A thin layer of separation, huh? If you must see for yourself, try examining these shavings for traces of elemental energy.
How do you know we can do that?
Smaragdus nephrite is an entirely ordinary ore, containing no elemental energy whatsoever. Is that so? Well, we might as well give elemental sight a shot. So, did you find
Oh,
anything?
thank you for activating that for me.
So they really are different. But wait, how come Jichao was able to tell what it was just by looking at the shards?
Well, she said she's experienced in this field, and if it's made all the time into jewelry and stuff, then she would know immediately.
There's nothing special to it. It
Well, it's
just
kind
so
of a cute
happens that
pose.
I've come across a great many of these in my time. These two stones actually look very similar. Someone without a deep understanding of them would find it very difficult to tell them apart. There may be only a subtle difference for the casual viewer, but that translates to an astronomical difference in terms of the market price, and, I'm sure, a significant difference in the cost of having them carved into shape.
All right, let's focus up. We're going off on a tangent.
But never mind, Shirto. Why would Mr. Crossell...
Unusual actions have unusual reasons behind them. Let's take some of these shavings back to Chateau.
Oh, this guy.
Miss Yanfei?
Oh, wow, camera. Okay,
Might
thank
I
you
be
again.
so bold as to inquire,
If you could just confirm for me once more, sir. Mr. Crossell did indeed claim that the ore he brought to your store was in fact Smaragdus jadeite, did he not?
Yes, that's right. I still have a record of the job with me, in fact. Here. It says quite clearly, 1 chunk Smaragdus jadeite, uncut.
I'm sure this wasn't his voice before. Apparently Sunwon did multiple voices in this, so maybe this is one of them, but I'm not sure. Because I feel it's very different from what I remember.
Then I have no further questions. But could I borrow the processing record and these stone shavings?
Of course. But might I ask why you need them?
Oh, I have my reasons. Ah, yes. Please sign here on this affidavit. This document shall serve as signed proof that these stone shavings originated from the, ore that Mr. Crossell brought to your store. Please read it carefully.
You know, if our relationship ever progresses to a certain amount, I feel eventually she's going to bring up one of these contracts right before right before a bedroom scene.
Yes, I see. Forgive me for asking again, Miss Yanfei, but might I know the nature of the incident on this occasion?
I wouldn't say there's been an incident, just a minor issue. Thank you, sir. I'll take these with me. With this hard evidence to back us up, Crossell won't dare try to deny what he did. On the contrary, this is far from sufficient to build a case. We need to find something a little more compelling. If you want to make jewelry, you need a professional jewelsmith. Let me think.
I love how she does that.
Jewelry. Nope. Aha! Got it. Sinxie. She often helps people to find a jewelsmith. Let's go pay her a visit. Well, that was quick. How come you know so many people?
You should. Oh, do you even know what a lawyer is, Paimon?
Because lots of people come to me for legal advice every day. As you know, Liyue Harbor is the city of contracts. And contracts, well, I should say laws, are very important to us. But the amendments made by the Tianquan to our laws are unnecessarily complicated. How can I put this? It just seems like they're hard to understand and impossible to finish. As such, legal advisors like myself provide quite the popular service indeed. So you help them make sense of the law. But didn't you say that it's hard to understand and impossible to finish? Yes, well, that's
Oh man,
no
camera, you're
because
doing a
I've
very good job
memorized
today.
all the legal codices.
I'm sure it's focusing on that little box there, but at the same time, you're helping me focus on something else.
You memorized them? You sound surprised. Knowing the law inside out is a legal advisor's bread and butter, you know? Oh, this has nothing to do with being an adeptus. I just like reading things.
How very cute.
Again, with that casual tone. Well, that's that then. Let's go look for Sinxie.
Try your luck betting on Jade?
Yes, look at that. His voice is different. They changed his voice. That might have been Sun Wan voicing him.
We're way
No,
behind
no, not
schedule.
here. I don't like this place.
Oh, Miss Yanfei, it's you. Has something happened? Did the client from last time,
Have no further trouble from then on? Yes, of course. I'm just here to ask you a few questions. Has a merchant by the name of Crossel asked you to put him in contact with a jewelsmith recently?
Krosel? Yes, I remember him. He's a merchant from Snezhnaya, no? Yeah, he came to me with a chunk of something he called Smaragdus Jadeite. The design of the hairpins that he gave me was quite intricate, so it took me some work to find someone who was up to the job. Eventually, I found an older jewelsmith who made them exactly according to his specifications. This order was on hold for a very long time, and only completed quite recently, which is why I remember it so well.
Doesn't seem like there's any evidence to be found here. Miss Sinxie, I'd like for you to confirm for me once more. When Mr. Crossel commissioned you to find him a jewelsmith, did he or did he not assert that the material he presented to you that day was called Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yes, I'm sure of it. The hairpins were made using many expensive materials, and the asking price was quite high, so we had to put this transaction on record with the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Mr. Krosel wasn't very familiar with the necessary procedures, so I filed it on his behalf.
A lot of this legal stuff isn't very commentary worthy.
I also kept a copy for my own records. See for yourself, the item is called Smaragdus Jadeite Twin Phoenix Pins.
I don't know, that's pretty blurry to me.
The inlaid gemstone is recorded as Smaragdus Jadeite. The document even has the official seal of the ministry on it.
Thank you, Sinxie. Now, could you let me borrow this document?
Sure, it isn't serving much purpose here anyway. I take it then that there's been some more trouble?
Nothing you need to worry about. Just a
She seems
minor
much
issue.
kinder than I
I'll
remember,
return
unless
the
I'm confusing her
document
with a
as soon
different
as I'm done
NPC.
with it. Thanks again. Why is everyone's first reaction always to assume someone or something is in trouble?
Yeah.
I believe we have almost all the evidence we need. We just need to make one last trip. Let's go to Boo Boo Pharmacy to speak with Dr. Baiju.
See if anybody has gotten sick and when they've been in contact with the supposed Jadeite.
The weirdo with the snake around his neck? What do you want to speak to him for? Because only he can provide an authoritative statement confirming that Smaragdus Jadeite is harmful to the human body.
I guess that too.
Once we have this final piece of evidence in our hands, we can wrap this case up.
Alright, let me confirm that this is the lady. Okay, no, she's the nice one. Who's the jerk? Oh, it's this lady that's the jerk. Alright. Sorry I doubted you.
Next on the agenda. We're way behind schedule.
Oh, come on. I like how when Mona jumps out of the ground, she actually does jump. And I'm wondering, if I do that... No, I can't. I was wondering if, like, if the jump counts as being off the ground enough to do a plunging attack.
Next on the agenda.
Hey, he's actually here. What a coincidence.
My, to what do I owe the pleasure?
Be him?
I'm
No, I don't know.
afraid that if you're looking
Shoot, now I'm
for our
suspecting
little
everyone of being
Chi-Chi,
Sun Wan.
she's out gathering herbs. And if it isn't Miss Yanfei as well, now that's an even rarer honor. What
It really does seem like his voice is different from last time.
Some charlatans peddling ineffectual medicines again, no doubt?
No. I'm here this time to ask if you're familiar with Smaragdus Jadeite.
I'm gonna have to look it up next time. I know for sure that guy, the first merchant that we talked to, is him. I know for sure. Because that's his voice. That's his most famous voice that he does.
Smaragdus Jadeite? Why, yes, there is some information about it included in the 6th commentary on the 7 Mountain Treatises. The 7 Mountain Treatises states that this substance springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains, and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. It is abundant in elemental energy, so if someone without a vision is in contact with it for a prolonged period, best case scenario, they fall ill. Worst case scenario, they'll suffer great changes in personality, and their illness will only ever get worse.
Well, that's exactly what she said about it.
Anyway, I'm sure you didn't come all this way just to chit-chat. Knowing you, Yanfei, and given the specific nature of your question, I suppose that you're about to ask me to write an official affidavit attesting to the pharmaceutical peculiarities of Smaragdus Jadeite?
Yep, but I'm surprised the snake doesn't have anything to say right now.
That is indeed the case. If you would be so kind, Dr. Baiju.
No trouble at all. It's just a single document. Won't take me a moment. I would mention, though, that you are not the only one who's developed a curiosity for Smaragdus Jadeite recently. A Snezhnayan merchant came to ask me about it not long ago.
Considering that, he may have asked about it, found out about the, health risks, and then decided to use something else so that wouldn't happen.
But after I gave him my reply, his expression shifted to one of remarkable disappointment. I wonder, Miss Yanfei, if your pressing business might be related to this Snezhnayan merchant?
He's pretty sharp as well.
You needn't concern yourself about that, Dr. Baiju. Thank you for penning us that document. I'll make sure to compensate you in due course.
Man, he's good. I didn't even see him do it.
You're too kind. Take care now.
Please,
That
show me your
Baiju guy is as weird as ever.
I agree.
Is it just Paimon, or does it feel like he was fishing for something back
Well,
there?
clearly.
Dr. Baiju's always been like that. Well, we have the evidence we need. Let's go find Mr. Crossel.
In Spanish, we call that being metiche.
We're way behind schedule.
Alright, Sun Wan.
Miss Yanfei, have you finished your investigation? I trust you will now be in a position to assess the compensation due.
Yes, my investigation is indeed concluded. I can now provide a final figure for the amount payable.
Wonderful. Well then, please, could you do the honors, Miss Yanfei?
Of course. According to the stipulations of the contract, Mr. Crossel, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original transaction price in Mora.
Sure. Wait, what? Me pay her? Surely there's been some kind of mistake, Miss Yanfei.
Quite a lot of evidence here.
Not at all. According to my investigations and the material evidence that we've gathered, the substance claimed to be Smaragdus Jadeite that was inlaid within the Smaragdus Jadeite twin phoenix pins that you rented out to Mr. Chow was, in fact, Smaragdus Nephrite. Now, the contract states very clearly that 10 times the price shall be paid.
I feel like you shouldn't
should
have put that in the
article not be
contract,
genuine.
especially considering he knew it wasn't
Accordingly,
genuine.
You're liable for this sum, which is payable to Mr. Chow in Mora.
Material evidence? What material evidence? Why, Miss Yanfei, you cannot frame me like this. I spent a huge sum to obtain that Smaragdus jadeite, and yet you claim that the ore inlaid on the hairpins is somehow fake? I demand to see your evidence.
Well, in the writing there, and in the subtitles, you stuttered. That's some evidence, I think.
Indeed. Only a testimony from an expert witness involved in the processing.
Oh, I
of
guess
the
I'm
ore
carrying
can
it
serve
around.
as an authoritative assessment of whether it is genuine. Traveler, please produce the evidence in question.
Alright, I'm your assistant.
This is a processing record from the Jade Mystery, along with stone samples and an affidavit signed by the business owner, Chateau.
Seriously? Even the boss there couldn't differentiate between Smaragdus jadeite and Smaragdus nephrite. How does this prove anything? In any case, Smaragdus nephrite is the outer layer of Smaragdus jadeite. So I had him cut away the nephrite, he returned the valuable jadeite core to me, and some nephrite samples remain in the store. What am I missing exactly?
That's an unsubstantiated belief.
Well, your claim that my ore is fake is just as unsubstantiated. And we are here to talk about evidence, aren't we?
Yeah, we got 2 more.
Ugh. Looks like our first piece of evidence didn't convince him at all. Seems like he came prepared. What should we do next? Hard evidence, something legally binding. We have just the thing. Show him, Traveler.
This document proves that my hairpins are the real deal, doesn't it? This is the Ministry's seal, after all. It shows that the ore inlaid on the pins is indeed Smaragdus jadeite.
Our second piece of evidence didn't work either. And this guy's getting more belligerent by the second.
Well, it's ramping up.
You know, you could be right. Perhaps the hairpins are the real deal after all.
Of course I'm right. All the evidence shown supports my story.
Well, hang on a moment now.
Oh, look at
because
that close-up.
I do recall one
Very,
final piece of evidence that we haven't revealed yet.
Lustrous lips she has there.
Traveler, would you do the honors? This shall...
Oh, I cut her off.
Smaragdus jadeite springs forth from stone marrow within the mountains and will bring disaster to any mere mortals who touch it. Sustained contact with Smaragdus jadeite over a prolonged period will, in less serious cases, cause a mild malady, while in serious cases, the patient may suffer a dramatic change of personality and fall seriously ill. Mr. Crossell, were you aware of these peculiar properties of Smaragdus jadeite?
I don't mind those close-ups at all.
I had no idea.
No idea, you say? I'd guessed as much. But for you to have rented out such a dangerous item, I'm afraid that this falls outside the scope of my work, but within that of the Ministry of Civil Affairs. However, I'm sure that the Ministry will be relatively lenient considering that, as you say, you were ignorant of the danger you posed. Don't worry, Mr. Crossell. I will make sure that all the evidence presented here will be handed over to the Ministry. I trust that you'll give them your full cooperation in their investigations.
What? Wait! I knew.
Oh, so you knew? Oh, dear Mr. Crossell. But if you knew of Smaragdus...
You know, this voice actor is pretty great.
...beforehand, why would you...
Huh? No,
She's pulling off the lawyer-sounding,
The hairpins
you know,
aren't actually...
vibe really well.
Aren't actually inlaid with genuine Smaragdus jadeite? Is that what you were about to say? You do understand, Mr. Crossell, that this means that you will have to pay Mr. Chow 10 times the original price in Mora? Mr. Crossell, your answer, please. My client and I are waiting. Yanfei's seriously intimidating right now. It's like she's a different person.
I like her a lot.
I admit it. I confess. The ore I had inlaid on those hairpins was Smaragdus nephrite. But I'm a victim in all of this too. I invested a great deal of time and money into acquiring that small amount of Smaragdus jadeite, in the hopes of turning it into a piece of jewelry that would fetch a fine price. But after receiving it and carrying it around for a few days, I started to feel extreme discomfort. I couldn't sleep a wink or eat a single bite. I was in a constant state of agitation too. I went to Boo Boo Pharmacy to get myself checked out, only to discover that this sort of stone cannot be worn as jewelry. But how could I let all that money go to waste?
It almost sounds like if it's radioactive or something. And you got radiation poisoning.
That's why I had another pair of hairpins made from Smaragdus nephrite, which is almost indistinguishable from Smaragdus jadeite. I kept the real Smaragdus jadeite in a specially made box. I daren't touch it again. I was worried that someone would see through it, which is why I only dared to rent them out, not sell them. And then to top it all off, Zhiqiao lost the hairpins after I rented them out to her.
Exactly! If they weren't the real deal, why'd you make her pay so much?
I didn't want to either, but when I purchased that Smaragdus jadeite, some of my business partners found out. I knew they'd be watching closely to see how much I could make off it. If word got out that I sold a pair of fake hairpins, then my days in this line of business would be over.
I like that all this reasoning checks out. His motivations and actions make a lot of sense.
Alright, let's cut the appeals phase right there. I failed to see what bearing any of this has on your transaction with my client. According to the contract, you must pay Mr. Chow 10 times the
Mr. again. Was this character a guy at one point? And then they switched it?
10 times?
Crosel looks like he could faint any second.
As for me, according to my contract with Mr. Chow, 20% of that sum will go to me.
20%? That's as much as I spent on that Smaragdus jadeite.
There's no need. It's fine. You don't have to pay me that much more. Even if the Smaragdus jadeite on those hairpins was fake, I still bear responsibility for losing them. Legally or not, I think I owe some compensation for that.
Everyone's, well, her particularly. She's being extremely gracious in all this.
Ms. Zhiqiao, you...
However, Mr. Crosel, since you have no use for that chunk of Smaragdus jadeite, why don't you give it to me instead? I'll consider us even.
What? But all right then.
Everyone wins, especially us.
Miss Yanfei, I'll turn the Smaragdus jadeite over to you. I trust that it will suffice as remuneration?
Nobody loses money, and we gain the thing.
That's not quite how the rules say this should go, but whatever. It'll do.
Oh, look at that subtle bounce.
Thanks
The best
so much
kind
for
of
your help
bounce.
this time, Miss Yanfei. When you have the time, I'll be sure to visit and express my thanks more appropriately.
Oh, come on. No need to stand on ceremony. Now, if I may confirm this again, Mr. Chow, have you and Mr. Crosel come to an understanding?
Well, yes, I believe we have.
Well then, that's good. Mr. Crosel, it seems that my client has no further claims against you.
Is that so? That's good. That's good.
Actually, Mr. Crosel, I'd like to talk business for a second if I may. I could see from the hairpins you produce that you're very skilled in jewelry design. My family, on the other hand, works in the ore business, and we have a fair stock of fine ores. If we could join forces, your jewelry designs and our choice ores, I think we could do some fine business between us.
Let me think for a moment.
I like how everything resulted in a net positive for everyone.
Well, that's that. And we've got the Smaragdus jadeite that Granny wants too. All's well that ends well, eh?
Yep.
Exactly. Usually when someone tells us they've lost something, we end up searching all over the place for it.
It's usually faster,
This
though.
time, you managed to solve the problem with just a big stack of documents. Even though the solution didn't involve actually finding the hairpins.
The right solution depends on your perspective on the problem. The objective of my client, Mr. Chow, was to reduce her liability to pay compensation. So, rather than looking high and low for some hairpins, proving that the rented item was nowhere near worth what the vendor had claimed it to be was the more efficient solution.
Well, we did search high and low for that evidence. So, that was still searching.
An Adeptus. Speaking of, you took part in that battle, didn't you? In which case, you would have heard what Granny said. Liyue Harbor is now a city ruled by humans. The title of Adeptus means precious little to me compared to my job as a legal advisor.
He keeps focusing on that box, but the box is never what I'm focusing on.
In any case, don't you think that the Liyue Harbor of today needs legal consultancy far more than it needs adeptal powers?
Paimon can think of someone who would definitely disagree with your reasoning.
Well, Since we got what we came for, it's time to pay Granny a visit. I bet she's been on tenterhooks for a while now.
Was that the only thing we needed? Let's see. Let's fly down. You know what? This time I will loot those flowers. Just go around. Wait, there we go.
We're way behind schedule.
We sure are. Because everyone got a head start on us with this update. Because I couldn't start any of this new stuff until I started recording. There's still the one over there, but I'll get that later. You know what? No, I'll get it now. I feel like the tutorial section is going to start when it comes to the player housing stuff, so...
Next on the agenda.
Okay.
We're way behind schedule.
Oh, no! Oh, I only got one. They saw me. Alright, you know what? I think I'm going to cut it off here. It has gone on a little longer than I thought it was going to, so... Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Genshin Impact. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.